All right, here's another exclusive interview. Punit Soni was one of the big-ticket hires made by Flipkart last year. Having tech giants like Google at the Silicon Valley, he was brought in as the head of product strategy at India's first unicorn. But his journey has been a rather short one, with him checking out of the e-tail giant within a year of joining it. Speaking to CNBC-TV18's Adith, Soni says that it's a factor of reasons, including the change in the work environment and Binny Bansal's elevation as the CEO, which prompted him to quit the company.
Changes is always a fundamental change in the destiny of a company. You know, if you think about Flipkart, it's got a bunch of changes like that happened in the past. With Binny come on board, I think Flipkart has a very, very strong future. He's very execution-oriented, very detailed, and he's also very strategic. So, but with his coming on board, there was also a pause in the company where we were all thinking about how we would actually fit in and what kind of work we want to do. I guess that pause helped me, decide that I actually wanted to go out and do something else.
Looking back at your tenure, a lot of interesting things happened. Flipkart and Myntra started talking about the app-only strategy. You had the launch of Ping. Flipkart started nearby and closed nearby. So when you look back in the at your last 12 months time at Flipkart, are there a couple of things that you think could have been done differently? I know it's a short time period, but as an individual, as a professional, do you think things could have been different? If you were to be taken back to 2015 Feb, would you do things differently?
I think that it's too early, in a year-long gig period to actually reflect on what you could do differently. If you think about a new gig, Adith, for most part, for the first few months, you're just trying to figure out how do you operate. For somebody like me, and perhaps for a lot of people who came from the valley to work here, you have a geographical shift, you have a cultural shift, you have an economic shift in terms of how the company is structured and what is happening. And so there is a lot of shifts. It takes that much time to actually just figure out what your place. The one point I'll make is that a product-oriented strategy is not a strategy of technology, it's a strategy of iterative behavior, where you actually take ideas and you just work on them. You launch, you iterate, you try to figure out what worked, what didn't work, and then you make changes. So if you talk about some of the things that you mentioned, nearby, I think the only way to crack hyper-local groceries is actually to go and figure out how to launch something small, learn how the unit economics work, then iterate on it, then look at what the user is saying, then iterate on it, then look at what the sellers are saying and iterate on it. If you try to launch something big fundamentally, you're going to fail, guaranteed. And that's what's happening in the ecosystem at this point in time.
And you can catch that entire conversation at 6:30 p.m. only on CNBC TV 18.